Guilty Gear Strive has been a game I've been anticipating for quite some time now. From seeing the initial trailer featuring Sol and Kai, to watching gameplay and discovering the series' lore, it goes without saying that the series has had me enthralled so far. Now that the full game is finally here, it's time to give my honest opinions on the series' latest installment. Join me, a complete newcomer to Guilty Gear, as I strive to be objective and review this game. So, first we'll start with gameplay. Guilty Gear Strive was built from the ground up by Team Red of Arc System Works. After coming back from a 10-year hiatus with the XR series, Daisuke Ishiwatari and his team decided to give new players and old a fresh start with the series. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the gameplay. The Gatling system has been changed. Weak attacks no longer universally cancel into heavy attacks. Instead, they combo into command normals and special moves. With this, there was a confusion from me as a new player due to what I heard from the community about XR's Gatling system being perfect, and I didn't understand why the developers would change it if it was that good. However, I listened to the developer interview during the Red Bull Kumite, and I can see the position the developers are coming from. They made XR Gatling system for XR, and they didn't want to charge people $60 for the same mechanics available in all three versions of XR. And as a newcomer to the series, I can say that there is a significant amount of depth to Strive that I didn't consider during open betas. For example, distance is a factor regarding your command line. When I press triangle, there's a different animation or attack depending on how close I am to my opponent, which I didn't even realize until I got to the mission mode. Now this has got me curious about how other attacks are affected by distance. There are also several mechanics within the game that add extra layers within themselves. For example, the burst mechanic allows you to get out of your opponent's relentless assault by bursting them away, and if you time it correctly, you can completely fill up your tension gauge, which allows you to do your overdrive techniques or your roaming cancels. Speaking of which, the roaming cancel mechanic allows you to cancel your character's move and create multiple opportunities throughout the battle. Not to mention that there are several versions such as red, blue, purple, and yellow. In Strive, each character has their unique moves and style. There are no Shoto clones in sight, which is a good thing since it keeps the game from getting stale and repetitive. And as of recording of this video, I've only been playing the game for about 3 days, so there are probably so many more things I've yet to discover as I plan to. Gameplay in Strive is layered, and there's a lot to unpack and learn. And while I see why some wish to go back to XR system, I do believe that this system has enough depth to it to keep everybody happy and entertained, which was what I think the developers were going for. Now let's talk about Strive's presentation. Guilty Gear Strive is a stunning game. You can tell Ishiwatari and his team poured all their love for the franchise into this game just by the little details. For example, I could watch each overdrive technique for hours and not feel tired. There's a close-up of each character during each of these moves, and their expression gives you all the information you need on screen. Sol's Tyrant Rave is straight and to the point, just like him. And while Kai's Ride the Lightning is elegant and fierce. And it's examples like these that give life and bring that extra bit of personality into Strive. And another example would be the music of Strive. In the previews for the music, I'll admit that some tracks had me worried that I would get tired of hearing these during a battle. However, when hearing the completed songs, I've completely fallen in love with most of them. Chip, Potemkin, Zato, and Eno being my top 4 without question. And while some songs aren't my favorite, none of these are bad songs. In fact, Each piece has something that makes them desirable and makes you want to listen to them more and more. And in terms of fighting game, Strive is the best looking and the best presentable fighting game right now. And I can't wait to see how it evolves throughout the years of development. And now let's talk about the story mode. I'll be honest, without Wooly's lore videos, I would have been completely lost during my time watching the story. And yes, you don't really interact or fight anybody during the story. Think of it like one long anime. And while watching said anime, I was completely invested in the series. The twists and turns were fantastic, and the ending made me happy, even though I still had a few questions. But I feel those will be addressed in the future, since I feel Guilty Gear Strive will sell pretty well. But now we'll talk about online features and the other ones. The online for Guilty Gear Strive is fantastic. I rarely felt any delays while fighting people in the States. And while I'm a bit nervous to fight people overseas, I feel that if I did, the rollback netcode would keep up and stay strong throughout the entire battle, which is something to applaud the developers of Arc System Works for, since it's rare that some companies will put rollback netcode in their games at all. And I feel that with Strive, this will become the new standard. Other modes I've dipped my toes into would be the training mode, mission mode, and survival mode. Each of these has helped me learn different aspects of the game. And since I got a new arcade stick, they've been helping me get used to how the buttons operate without, losing a floor or losing a match repeatedly. So I'm thankful for those. And while Strive is a fantastic game, no game is perfect. The story mode, as I stated before, is one long anime. And while I enjoyed the experience and watching how the story unfolds, others might see this as something that shouldn't be in a fighting game and feel that you should be interacting with the characters yourself. And I understand that too. And while I did praise the online mode, there were still a few hiccups here and there when it was coming to my opponent's connection or being able to get on the stands without it saying you couldn't get the information, But I feel as if these will be addressed in the future, so I won't really have that much to worry about in regards to my routines. Alright, now I'll talk about the future of this series, where I think it'll go, and my overall thoughts. So, as for the future, they've given out a roadmap of what they want to do with Strive. There's going to be a character coming in August and in July. Don't know why I did, August 1st, but that's the roadmap. And they're going to give continuous free updates throughout the development cycle of Guilty Gear. Those are definitely some things to look forward to, and I can't wait. As for me, I want to get more involved with the Guilty Gear community as a whole. My first goal is to improve enough to get as close as possible to a heavenly floor. Then maybe enter an online tournament and maybe, fight some famous YouTubers. Probably not, but hey, it could happen. And if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And I can't wait to play with you all and discover what Guilty Gear Strive has to offer. And as for my overall thoughts, Guilty Gear Strive was something the series needed. While I don't necessarily agree with reboots, I do have to say that starting from the ground up can help you see a different perspective and how things can change for the better. And I'm glad the developers took Strive in this direction and gave me a game that I'm kind of already addicted to. But how do you guys feel about Strive? Is it a good game? Is it a great game? Are you not interested because it's not XR? Let's talk about it in the comments. This is Nerdtron, Thank you for your time and patience. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.